Hi and welcome to my channel. I'm Bunny, or Gun Bunny, and this channel is about my journey through guns, and that means everything. I don't know what some people seem to be confused by that. I don't know what people expected. As I said, my journey through guns and cosplay, and I am giving you that. I think some people seem to be upset by the fact that I am doing some things or showing some parts of my journey that they didn't necessarily want. I don't know why you think that. This is my journey. I'm presenting it how the fuck I want to. It's my channel.
You want another one? Come at me, bro!
And that includes the content I consume to learn about guns, as that's a big part of my journey through guns. It's not just gonna be a lot of range videos, guys. Fucking people, man. So if you're wondering why I'm dressed like a flapper today, it's because we are talking about a book series that takes place in the Roaring 20s. Why am I talking about a book series? Well, it's because what I just mentioned. It's part of my journey through guns, and it's important, and it's good. If you saw my review of Die Hard, you'll probably know why I got so fiery about media representing guns correctly. I think this is a very big and common thing for people, especially with interests in history or historically based things such as dress history or weaponry history, as this is something I am interested in both. I have been a huge fashion history nerd for most of my life, and so I have experienced many a time watching historical media and just being like, what? No, that's not how corsets work. You can breathe. But why are you wearing that? That's not historically accurate. Why? Why is this person, why is this Bronze Age person using an iron sword? This doesn't make sense. I feel like a lot of us who are, deeply into the nerd community can relate to that. So if you feel like that, I am happy to tell you that I have found a book series that is not only good, but is possibly a love letter to gun lovers. Let's get started. I would like to let you know that some information about my channel. First off, that I am only funded by my Patreon. I will not be doing sponsorships or using YouTube's monetization feature, even though they've asked me twice now. So if you are interested in that, you get extra Gun Bunny content, and it starts at $5. So my link for the Patreon will be in the description below and on screen now. I also have a PayPal box where you're welcome to send me things. I will soon actually be putting together a requested list of guns and tactical gear and stuff that I like, including ammo. If people want to send me things that aren't a subscription-based service, or if you just have stuff lying around. So that will be being compiled soon, and I will keep that updated so people can know, like, oh, what does she own, what does she, etc. I also want to say that I post videos every Monday and Thursday, so come to my channel and check out there. I do a good mix of things. I do everything from competitions to trying new guns to cosplay, shooting in cosplay, more goofy videos kind of like this, making cosplay, and just also pure goofing off. I also generally document my journey through guns and opening a gun shop. Let me think. I have social medias, which are on the screen over here somewhere, where you can follow me, but I mostly post on YouTube and sometimes on Instagram. So I'm a prolific reader. I read anything from YA novels that, are part of my fandom interests, to all of Terry Pratchett's Discworld books, to smutty romance novels, because they're great. Who doesn't want to fuck a pirate? I mean, come on, man. At least they have to have good plot. Like, if I want a little bit of plot with my porn, and it can't be vanilla as fuck. Those are just, Jesus, not to like yuck anybody's yum, but like if I'm gonna spend an hour doing period accurate hair and makeup, more like 3 hours. So if I'm gonna spend 3 hours doing period accurate hair and makeup, I'm going to sit here on camera and rant about smut, and you can't stop me. I mean, you guys, you can click off the video. You can't stop me. I'll still be here doing it. What was I talking about again? Oh, yes. So I read quite a bit. I will show you my bookshelf, and these are only the books that I have read in the past year or two. I moved almost 2 years ago and only were able to bring the books I had most recently read with me, and so everything from this is everything basically from not last summer, but the summer before I have read, and not even including that, I've listened to a lot of audiobooks that I have not been able to get the physical copies of the books yet. I want to. I have a whole list of books that I need to buy or will buy one day when I can afford them. Books and guns are expensive. It's an expensive habit, okay? So is cosplay, especially when you are as fast a reader as I am and listen to audiobooks pretty much 24/7. Anyway, so my mentor and I have a lot of long road trips to go to, especially when we're going to competitions. And so one of our traditions is to listen to audiobooks together. He likes to suggest books that are either just really good or give some educational purpose to me, and such as the Churchill's Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. This is in a way because I've asked him to teach me everything he could possibly teach me about guns and their history, but also to expose me to important cultural things about gun culture, as that's part of my journey, is in, watching the films that are important to gun culture and the jokes, like, this is my boomstick. I actually know what that fucking meme means now.
Groovy.
To be fair, he had to explain to me what based means, but that's because I'm a hermit. I'm too busy being autistic and reading smut. God, okay, no, I'm not gonna make a joke about getting fucked in the woods. But anyway, really fast, if anyone knows any good queer, smutty pirate romance novels, I would love some. All of the ones I found are very straight, which I'm fine with. I like men, but also women and other people are pretty. Okay, excuse me being gay for a moment as we get back to our readily as we get back to our readily scheduled fucking brain, as we get back to our regularly scheduled nonsense. Jesus fucking Christ, I can't talk. As we get back to our regularly scheduled nonsense. Fuck. I'm bringing my light closer because I can't fucking see shit. Oh, so much better. Now you can see my face. Okay. So now let me talk to you. Okay. Now let's actually get back on track. So one of the suggestions have now become my favorite series or trilogies. Is it a series if it's a trilogy? That is an editing note. Is if a series is technically a trilogy. Fix my hair. So much hair. I'll just keep my hair in place. You have no idea. I have so much fucking hair. It's not okay. God, this YouTube channel is fucking pure chaos. If you don't like pure chaos, why are you here? Okay, maybe the tits, but no, I can't even argue with that. That's fair. So after my Die Hard rant, you can assume that I do really enjoy when media gets guns correctly. And a book series with a fantasy element is every excuse to not to get guns incorrectly as it's fantasy. The same principle is when I applied historical accuracy in costumes in media. But I was extremely happy to find that Larry Correia did not take this as a cop-out in his series, trilogy, this trilogy, fuck you, in his trilogy, The Grim Noir Chronicles. Not only are these books accurate about guns, but they went a step farther. Starting off with the first book, Hard Magic, continuing to the second book, Spellbound, and finishing with the last book, Warbound, Larry Correia's series follows us through a series of guns and magic. It's a hard-boiled detective story told over 3 fabulous, thrilling novels of intrigue and adventure. What could be better? What if I told you that not only is this a great story, but one written, nay, crafted, artfully by an author who not only loves, but knows firearms? The knowledge and care dedicated to the use and portrayal of guns, but also working them in with the world of magic, where not only does it make sense, but the two interact in a believable way. It's a true love letter to the genre and to the love of guns. Though despite the author's love of 45 fat, old, and slow. Or, as most people call it, 45 ACP. As much as I love a good schlock fest of a fast-paced story where I must suspend my disbelief, the Grim Noir series is not one such story. This is so much better. Now, I will try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible, leaving out any major plot points, but to really discuss the book, I can't keep it completely spoiler-free. So if you want to go into this book completely blind with no idea what to expect, please be warned. I will be talking about the main characters and lore in a general way. Nothing will be past what is mentioned in the first book or past what may be mentioned in reviews or summaries of the book, though I will analyze and talk about them a bit. So depending on your definition of spoilers, please proceed with caution. So to start and give you a little bit of a sense, I am going to read the back of the first book and then go into my discussion of the book. But first Hard Magic. I'm going to put these other two down. Sorry if, nope, I'm fixing that lighting. That's bad. Sorry that the camera angles and lighting keeps changing. I keep changing my mind and not wanting to restart, so we just have to deal with it. I lost one of my lights right now, and I'm trying to find a replacement, so yay. Okay, a hard-boiled private eye, caught in a secret war of magic. Jake Sullivan is a war hero, a private eye, and an ex-con. He's free because he has a magical talent, and the feds often need his help in apprehending criminals with their own magical talents. But the last operation he was sent on went completely wrong. Delilah Jones, an old friend of Jake's in happier times, had too much magic muscle with her for the cops to handle, even with Jake's help. It got worse. Jake found out that not only have the feds been lying to him, but there was a secret war being waged by opposing forces of magic users. Worst of all, he has attracted the attention of one of the side's ruthless leaders, who were of the opinion that Jake was far too dangerous to be permitted to live. And I'm going to read you some of the praise because it does a lot better at summing this up than I can before we get into my review. Okay, there we go. Spellbound keeps you on the edge of your seat from the start to finish and is full of set pieces that leave you in gaping awe. This book is an absolute blast to read. From Fantasy Books Reviews, co.co.uk. The world building in Hard Magic is top-notch and well-researched. The alternative history alone makes this worth the read. There's airships, superhero smackdowns, lots of guns, and great writing. If you enjoy lots of action and have a special place in your heart for superheroes, this book is for you. Peter Janice, author of the Iron Dragon series. I found myself pulled into a story that is cleverly blended together alternate history, magic, and the grit of a 1930s gangster. Stylish and slick. Larry Cordia's Hard Magic is a story that no fan will want to miss. Oh, fantasy fan will want to miss. From sfreview.com. So that kind of gives you an idea of the book and its beginnings, but let's talk a little bit more about my opinions and thoughts, if I can think to load. Well thought out lore without being too complicated, like the Wheel of Time, to really understand on a first read. The world of the Grim Noir is set in an alternative universe that is similar to ours in many ways, but some history has been altered due to the fact that in 1849, 1 in 100 people started to exhibit signs of magical power. 70 or so years later, our story starts following a group of, but mostly focusing on 2 of these such magical people. Sally Faye Vieira, a traveler, this world's term for somebody who can teleport. Faye is a feisty farm girl with a violent streak. And Jake Sullivan, a Great War veteran, convict, and heavy, somebody who can manipulate gravity, and happens to be a hard-boiled detective. Now, these 2 characters and the others interact with guns quite a bit. I mean, it is a, noir-style book that has lots of grit, smackdowns, shootings, shootouts, and all-out war. What I really think stands out about this series and these books in general is the way that they incorporate magic and the guns. Incorporating magic or fantasy elements into worlds with certain technology, such as firearms, is often the plight of an author. It can either seem weirdly done, it seems like the magic and the technology are clashing and don't make sense for each other. Like, for example, why wouldn't you just do the magic to do this with the technology or use this technology to do this with magic? It can often seem off-putting, which is why a lot of fantasy books seem out of place or confusing, and it often feels like the author doesn't really know how to blend these 2 elements of the world. Well, the world of the Grim Noir is quite the opposite. Far from having struggles blending the ideas of quite a lot of gunfights and super-powered people, which is something that I personally think, a lot of the modern superhero, universes kind of struggle with and use plot armor, or, their resistance to bullets, whatever, to kind of get away with. The author doesn't drive them away from guns and try to have them interact with them as little as possible so that the magical superheroes will seem believable, but in fact has them interact with them on quite a heavy basis, using their magic with the guns in a believable way. For example, Faye, who is a traveler, she can teleport or fold time and space, moving through it in a split second, has a love of guns, and is quite violent. She is often shown to be able to fire a round, travel, fire another round, travel, fire another round, and all before the first bullet ever hit its intended target. or she will often use her magic tactically within the use of guns in battle in general. For example, somebody fires a round at her and travel away before it hits her, then hitting the enemy behind her, or similar tactical moves using her power congruently with guns. Not only this, but the characterization written about this is quite well. Larry Cordia almost often writing passages about her traveling 3 times before all the shell casings will hit the ground. The way that the authors pay such attention to detail to every function of the firearm, including the shell casings hitting the ground, shows a true dedication and love of firearms within this novel. It's not only just a fantasy novel about an alternative universe in the 1920s. This is an author who truly loves guns and wanted to write a novel about gun-toting badasses. Jake Heavy Sullivan is able to manipulate gravity. Now, the reason that they call heavies is because they are often large, buff, and often dumb men that are able to lift extremely heavy things because they are able to control the gravity around a certain item, for example, making it lighter so that they can lift it, reversing the flow of gravity or lightening the tug of gravity on said item. Now, as we've mentioned, Jake is a war vet and was part of a special platoon made mostly, I think, of heavies. And one of the interesting things, this is this world's version of World War I, that they did with this concept is actually using these magic powers in battle, but especially with things like much larger guns. I think that's something that's really, really interesting, especially with Jake's power, and that the author does go into with guns, is he talks about the assumption that a lot of people have about heavies and guns is that they make big, chunky, powerful guns lighter, so it's easier for them to tote around. But actually, Jake says, what they will do when they're managing these giant machine guns is make them heavier to lessen the recoil, which I think is just so amazing because it gives a look into the author's actual understanding of how guns work and how in this magical world people would create different ways of problem solving around guns and use their superhero powers not instead of guns, but with them, and possibly using guns even better because of how they're able to use their powers. And I think that's so fucking cool. I think that the author did a great job with not just giving people bullet-resistant plot armor, but actually incorporating this in a really believable and human way, because humans, given any strength or change, will try to work around it or figure out ways to improve. And I think that the way that these characters don't just avoid guns because they have superpowers is really amazing, embracing the superpowers and embracing firearms. This is an amazing book if you love this type of thing, if you like action-packed, thrilling novels with amazing plot. This is the book for you. This is the book series for you. There are 3 books. They're not super long, but they are definitely fast reads. It is one overall story which unfolds over the course of 3 books. All of them feel like one cohesive, thought-out story split into 3 reasonable parts that make sense narratively. Through an adventure that involves secret societies, tyrannical governments, ninjas, pirates, epic battles, dirigible airships, horrific crimes, steampunk technology, a jaunt outside the law to save the world, hard-hitting, badass men and women armed to the teeth by Mr. John Moses Browning himself. Jake, Faye, Mr. Browning, and others set off into the world, their lives changed by their powers and the world around them, and the mystery that seems to permeate the very air they breathe. They are knights of the grim Noir, and it is their job to solve the mystery and keep the balance between the magicals and the non-magical people of this world, to end the secret war that has been waging, to figure out why people started to exhibit magical powers. I highly suggest reading all 3 of the books up until the last bullet that ends Warbound. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I certainly did. I love talking about one of my favorite trilogies ever. It was quite fun. I hope you enjoy coming on my journey with me through guns, and I hope to see more of you. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Bye!